Well, it's time for it. Probably one of my favourite versus games that was ever released in the 90s. Of course, I'm talking about... Get ready to hear it. I love the intro to this game. Not this nonsense. One of my favourite intros. Let's get a load of this. Isn't that one of the greatest intros to an arcade game you've ever seen? Can you imagine walking along at the arcade, hearing that? I'm going to put some coins in. Can you imagine what it was like walking along at the arcades, for me personally, Southend-on-Sea, seeing that and this arcade just singing at you just how bloody good it is. It just screams, play me, play me, play me. And play it, me and my brother did. We hit this arcade so hard it was unreal. Prior to this, we'd obviously played Street Fighter to death. We'd played X-Men X-Men Children of the Atom and Marvel Superheroes. But the idea of Marvel and Street Fighter in the same game was just mind-blowing at the time. Just the idea that these two franchises, everyone knew that Marvel Superheroes, the game, was made by Capcom. Capcom, of course, hugely popular for their Street Fighter series, had worked together with Marvel to create a couple of Marvel-based beat-em-up games that used the license from Marvel and a number of their characters and the permission to use them, and of course used Capcom's engine and their new and improved board to get this going. But in those other games you were actually able to play as Akuma, as a secret character, but for the most part you couldn't really play Street Fighter characters. There was the feeling and the motions, like the Hadouken down to forward with a punch, but that was about it really. But Marvel vs Street Fighter was the game that let you play finally as Street Fighter characters in this universe and against them. So the number of times you played Marvel or X-Men and thought, well, Wolverine's good, but how would he do against Ken or Ryu? Or you sit there thinking, Akuma's pretty good, but how would they fare against these alternate universe characters? These questions were finally answered. And at the same time as this, of course, Street Fighter had been released as an alternate version on that board in the form of Street Fighter Alpha or Street Fighter Zero, depending on where you live. And these two, the idea you took these two big AAA licenses from Capcom and merged them into a single game was incredibly appealing. And the fact that Capcom knew how much people wanted to see this, because look how colourful this game is. Listen to the way it was propelled in your face. The logos are maintained of the pair of them, and the sprites that you're going to see today. This is one of the prettiest games I ever got to play. Let's add some more credits in there. So let's get in this game. Straight away there's Akuma. We're going to play as Akuma. And of course this game brought in the tag team dynamic as well, and the fact you could mix between games as well. So let's play as Wolverine and Akuma working together. And then again, do bear in mind in this, some characters were nerfed. We've got Dan in there, the ridiculous Dan. Easy mode, of course, which gave you the bit you just rapidly tap buttons, as I'll show you quickly. And I never used that as a kid, but I'm just showing to you just for now. Trust me, I know how to play as these characters. But this was, at the time, an incredibly breathtaking game. And it did not disappoint. All the characters were provided in their glory. And the game itself is, you know, with all the other games in that franchise, probably one of the most playable. And introducing that tag team dynamic was just one of the many ways in which this game had really served to improve upon the Marvel universe of games. So there we are, we've got that move there, and let's see if we're able to pull off that double. I can't even remember how to pull off the double, to be honest. There we are, we can pull off the super moves, and there goes Shumagarath out of the window. So this was the game that really made the idea of pairing up all these characters together that bit more appealing, because up until then you had your Street Fighter games, and they had some of them, if you used a few cheats and glitches, the ability to do what they call dramatic mode, where you could have two people fighting together. But this was the first time, think about it, this is the first beat 'em up game that we witnessed two characters performing the super move together. Prior to this, it had never happened. There was X-Men vs Street Fighter released about the same time, but it didn't have the true explosive in-your-face nature of this game. X-Men vs Street Fighter did it first, of course, and we do have a video on that. But this is the game that really made it so explosive. I mean, I'm hoping to do a video later on to figure out which of the two is the better. Because me personally, I do prefer this game. X-Men vs Street Fighter was, you know, the smoothest. But this is the one that really brought it to those extraordinary heights that we're now only familiar with in the likes of Marvel vs Capcom, etc. This is the one that led the way for those other games to do that. Do you know what? There's Sakura. That's what I wanted to see. Because I'll be honest, Sakura, I am looking forward to doing a certain horrendous super move to this horrendously annoying character. There we are. Am I going to miss? No, got it. Again, maybe if we're lucky I can get to level 3 super and maybe try the Raging Demon with Akuma. But of all the games that I talk about on this channel, this is probably the one I've been looking forward to showing you the most. Because it's just so damn playable. Oh no, we can't perform the Raging Demon outside of a level 3. Do you know what? Just to get it out of the way, just in case you're thinking you're the shizzle there, Sakura. Oh my god, would you absolutely Adam and Eve it? There we go. And the Tenzugo Zanku moves like that. And also the fact that names were plastered on the screen just made it a far more appealing in-your-face game. Let's pause it a second and talk about some of the facts behind this game. Now, straight away, it was released in July of 1997, originally in Japan, and worldwide release very soon after. It utilises the CPS2, the CP System 2 board, as featured originally in Super Street Fighter and then in all preceding Marvel and Capcom games for quite a long time. Published by Capcom, obviously with Marvel's own license. Some of the facts about this game, quite interesting indeed. There is a whole host of secret characters, a ridiculous number of secret characters, from the Iron version of Zangief to the other Darkstalkers characters and Orange Hulk, lots of different versions of characters. On top of that, some of the endings, some of the facts about this game, every character had their own ending and some were more bitter than others. The Omega Red ending, for example, he kills Ryu to Ken's dismay, stating some quite horrendously horrific words. On top of that, Apocalypse, the final boss, is huge. You had this enormous, boom, overpoweringly large character. Now, Apocalypse, and of course, the later versions, of course, I think Doomsday, or whatever his name was. No, that's DC, I'm so sorry. These were some of the first times we saw sprites and animations that were just enormous on screen. Likewise, there was certain animations that are actually left unfinished because the characters themselves were not even characters, they were like backgrounds that happened to do attacks. Other endings that were left out of the game, and sprites that were left out of the game. There was Dhalsim's wife was in some of the backgrounds. Her data pack, the animations of her weren't used in the end, but if she was supposed to appear in different characters and cheer or weep depending on Dhalsim's performance. There's a secret character known as Norimaro, or Norimaru, in the Japanese version of the game. There was a weird kind of businessman with specs. I think at the time it was a very popular figure in that culture, socially, and he featured as a secret character in the game with his own moves. But one of the main reasons he never made it into this character, and it was an unused animation even in Japan, was a move where he went along the ground, he crouched and looked up Chun-Li's or Sakura's skirt when they died. It was, you know, pretty appalling, and you can see why it was left out. But there's that slight Japanese culture of slightly bizarre attitudes to sexual mores and feminism that I'm glad didn't make it to this game. Again, you can Google it, it's all available online. Google image, you'll find it. But that's pretty much all the facts for this, and let's get back into this game. Wallop. Probably a round or two more of this. There's Ryu. Right, Akuma versus Ryu. A battle as old as time itself. Let's have a look at you. Because I do think the Ryu-Akuma relationship is one of those stories that's kind of like Heihachi and Kazuya in Tekken, kind of an ongoing theme. I'm hoping to do a video in the very near future about the best bosses in Tekken history. Not Tekken, in Street Fighter history. There we go. Take that, Captain America, in your face. Now, is his other alternate move in this game? Maybe we'll find out if I perform it correctly. The crazy stab maneuver. Let's put in there. Let's swap characters. And of course, the introduction of bringing a character in mid-game was put into this, mid-round, without introducing them fully, was another one of those features that was included. There we go. Bye-bye, Ryu. Again, in later versions of this game, Akuma was nerfed ever so slightly, for understandable reasons. He is ridiculously overpowered as a character. I don't know if any of you guys out there ever played some of the Street Fighter 2 and Super Street Fighter 2 modded arcade cabinets, where you had like moves that weren't official, like double fireballs and stuff like that, and air hurricane kicks and stuff like that. But a lot of these features that were in modded cabinets were actually introduced into this game as actual moves. So it's nice to see that idea that, you know, certain social modding would eventually make it into the arcade cabinets, these over-the-top styles. Let's have a look. Carrying on here. Might even be worth seeing how far we can take this on a single credit. Who knows? I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm clearly playing this on easy, but it would be nice to see if we can get to that last boss and maybe get some of those animations. Good night, Blackheart. You know what, let's do a quick switch. Blackheart and Zangief, that's quite a slow combination. That's quite surprising. Anyone that's lucky enough to have seen Zangief's super move pile driver will know that it's quite devastating and will probably eliminate most of my energy bar if he's given the opportunity to perform it. But no, I would definitely go as far as to say this is one of those games that really changed the scene in the arcades in terms of one-on-one beat-em-up games, because people were very loud about this game. It was, you know, it brought new elements of tactics with some of these moves that were unseen in previous Street Fighter iteration, and I do include Street Fighter 0 and Alpha on that. I mean, Dhalsim is a kind of hit-and-miss character. In terms of Street Fighter, I would obviously say he's part of the original lineup of the Street Fighter series, but he's one of those characters that seems to come and go. Anyone that saw my Marvel Superheroes playthrough will know that how much I detest Omega Red as a character is borderline limitless. I think he's one of the cheapest characters ever designed, with a lot of these grabs being unnecessarily versatile and with a hitbox that's way too wide, far too wide, and in an unfair frame of mind. I would happily ban him from any tournament I would ever enter. Having a bit of a string of bad luck here versus Dhalsim. He's quite a hard... Oh, that poxy block. Good night from you, Dhalsim. Oh, it's getting close. Oh, game over. I think we're looking at a foul here, ladies and gentlemen. No, I'm afraid that's it from me. So, I hope you enjoyed this video. I can't recommend enough that you go out and check out. I believe there's online versions of this game for you to play via your browser. I'll try and include it in the comments, but otherwise Google is your friend. But, nevertheless, if you've got any other comments about games that you want to see in the channel, then do chuck it in the comments down there at the bottom. But otherwise, I really hope you enjoyed this video, and I'm looking forward to seeing you next time at Robbie's Arcade. Let's check out the continue screen. Cheerio, it's nice to see you once again.